my goodness. I'm supposed to play this thing, but hello. How about I do this? I forgot the disclaimer today. Is it live? I came in right away. Do we need an intro? Bang, bang. Paper is back. Paper is back. Here, Evan's in.
Yeah.
I can't hear him though. Is my audio working?
I am here.
Oh,
Early, by the way. I've been in here for 10 minutes.
oh my God. I didn't even notice the time. Do I need an intro? We don't need the intro.
Do you? Why is it? Wait. Oh, God. It disconnected my mic. You can hear me?
I can hear you perfectly, dude.
No, that means that's a bad thing.
I can hear you perfectly. Well, welcome, everybody, boys and girls. We are live. Happy Monday, man. Happy Monday. Dude, I'm so upset. I got this oh, you can't see it. But I got these really cool fridge organizers. They're like slidey shelves. Have you seen these before?
Yeah, you were talking about them.
They go in your fridge. This is open. And they sit here.
Liquid death.
And they slide. But dude, I measured it width, but not the length. It's way too deep. It's way too deep. So now I have to return them. And they're not cheap.
How much?
Lame. I was all excited. And yeah. Well,
that's such a first world problem. I didn't want to go too deep into my drinks fridge in my office, in my house.
You know.
Listen, the gains, dude. This is a surgical strike type of market, you know? My guy deserves to not have to reach all the way back.
I mean, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is.
What it is. I did that too. There you go.
Long. I wish. That's Amazon. It was Amazon. I did a bunch of buying on the stupid Amazon. It's crazy. All right, so let's do this. So we are in to earnings season. We've got a couple ready to go. Let me get this ready. Dun, 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 dun. I don't even have a disclaimer out here. So I guess I can't really I can't even talk about my trades now. So, but what we're going to do, crap, we're just going to talk about the market. I need to get my disclaimer. So how do I, son of a biscuit.
Just take a screenshot of it and then just put it on the screen.
How do I get my disclaimer? I need to open a new. Sorry, guys. This is going to have to be quickie. How's that? Boom. Read this slide. There you go. Options involve risk not suitable for investment prior to buying or selling. Before we get started, point out options are not for everyone. Read characteristics and risks of standardized options before you start trading. Get a copy of that by calling, where is it? 188 options or something like that. Somewhere in here. There you go. I'm happy with that. There you go. Done and done. Okay. Earnings season is on the way. We've got a couple, by the way. That's literally all we have on deck this week. I was doing our like the week ahead kind of thing. I accidentally did next week's and I got a little scared. I was like, oh shit. I was like, is July really over? Because next week, by the way, we are absolutely MK. Jason always right except for when he's wrong. I love it. I was doing next week, and next week we are loaded, and I mean loaded to the gills. We got NFP, we got FOMC, we have PCE, we have all kinds of crap coming next week. So enjoy the break this week while we have it, because it's not going to last for long. Last week, Evan, you were talking about a blackout period, right? For the Fed.
Yes, they are, but it's weird because Powell and another Fed member are speaking this week, which threw me off a little bit. But they're in a
Yeah.
blackout period.
Yeah. Fed Powell hit with criminal referral by House?
So what? Okay, I'm going to be truthful.
Probably
When
just
I see this, if you see Pulte say anything or anything like that, it's
Pulte.
meaningless. Bill Pulte, I believe, is William Pulte. He is the head of the Housing Administration now. He was Pulte Group is a stock. PM? No, PM's Philip Morris.
Pul-
PH?
Pulte Group, like the housing
Yes.
company? Okay.
What is it? Wait, it's not either of those. PHM. The guy who one of like the I guess former CEO, he's now the head of the housing administration, and he said multiple times like, yeah, we're gonna fire Powell. I heard Powell's gonna get fired and stuff like that.
Yeah, so that's actually
So
what I have on my stuff. My God, I took this stupid. I just took a lotto trade in the server, and it's like flying right now. I'm looking. Anyways, let's get on with this though. I can't even look. So what we do, if you're new here, by the way, and Patrick's right, this week won't last forever. So we got to enjoy it while we can. If you're new, every Monday around the lunch hour, give or take, we usually have a little bit of a lull. And I like to take this time out just to kind of say, hey, look, what happened last week? What do we have going on this week? Maybe we can kind of take some time and plan out the week ahead and possibly the week after. I am an options trader, so I absolutely hate trading options. I absolutely hate trading on Mondays in general. It's like the most expensive time of the week for an options trader. So personally, I need an excuse to get away from the market anyways. So if you're an options trader, hey, this is why I do this at this point in time. Come hang with me. It'll keep us out of a lot of trouble. So this is the deal. Evan's talking about, and thank you, Evan, for joining. I love having Evan here. I really tried to get him to do this face reveal thing. It's probably not going to happen, guys. I hate to disappoint, but it is what it is. But I love him anyways. But so last week, in terms of recaps, there was this little blip in the market, if you didn't catch it, and what Evan's talking about. Trump comes out and he says, hey, what did he say? I think I'm going to fire Powell. And the market kind of takes a quick little nosedive. And about 30 minutes later, he goes, well, I think I'm not going to fire Powell. And then immediately stocks recover. But it kind of gives you pause. Like, we are still definitively in a Trump market. And basically, we're very, very much headline driven, but anything goes. And what it told me as a trader is like, hey, look, the market is still on edge a little bit. They're still very knee jerky. We are definitively in an uptrend for sure. People are still kind of trying to short, like the bears are still out there. They're clearly hibernating. But at the end of the day, what was also very, very true, and what won over is that this is still like buy the dip generation, right? Like, it's still buy the dip market, still buy the dip generation as a whole. And, net, I look across the board from a seasonal perspective. We're way past the seasonal highs normally. I usually do this post like once a year at the beginning of July. It's like, hey, look, my usually from, I think it's about 3-month period, April, May, June, into July. April, May, June, into the beginning of July. It's this 3-month period. The market always rallies like heavily. And it's that very last, thanks, Evan, is that very last push into the beginning of July that is actually, it's seasonally very strong. It's like the strongest push. And one year I made like $1 million in a week. Actually, like more than $1 million. It's like 1.6, 1.7 in a week. And actually that following, it was like the first 10 days of July. And right after that, because I kept pushing it, I lost about $500,000 trying to continue to press the same bet. And I always make this, I don't always, but I tend to do this like annual post. Here we are towards the end of July. Jesus, we're still going. And it's like, okay. It's kind of reminiscent of that first Trump market. Were you trading back then, Evan? I think it was around.
Depends on what your definition of trading is.
Oh, well,
I would say I was invested. I bought my first stocks 10 to 15 years ago. I was pretty active at that point. 2016 on, I was pretty active in the market, but I really didn't start trading until 2020, and then I didn't start trading without losing money until about a month ago.
When he joined the server.
Yep. No, listen, I got a big MRVL win and a big Google win. And then like two
Google's
big
still
wins
winning
and then
now.
a couple paper cuts, you know?
There you go. Yeah. Well, Trump, what was the first Trump market? 2016? 2016?
Yeah, 2016 to 2020.
Yeah. So it's somewhere around there. There was this kind of movement where they did kind of buck the trend. But it reminds me of like, okay, so during one of that Trump eras, the mega caps actually stalled for a bit, and then the small, medium caps stocks took over and carried the market breadth significantly higher. And I think that's what we're starting to see. Typically during earnings season, we can actually see large caps start to stall out, but breadth start to widen, and that start to Bobby 1998, and that start to carry the broader market a little bit higher. But anyways, we're in a Trump market. That's the end of that story.
I'm seeing Amazon just posted a little headline to their blog. Amazon Bracket launches new 54-qubit supercomputing quantum processor for IQM. I wonder if that's enough to move those quantum names.
Look at this Amazon 228. Even with Jeffrey selling, is he almost done yet?
When I last saw, he was like 54% of the way through.
I mean, this thing still, it's such a slow mover at this point. It's very hard to trade, especially with earnings coming, but it's very small incremental moves. That's more like stock holdings. But anyways, so we got some data points last week. So we got core CPI that came in pretty much in line. So in the parentheses that I have in parentheses what the forecast was, 0.3% came in. Core CPI came in pretty okay, 0.2% versus 0.1% prior. So a little bit hotter than last, but that doesn't matter. It was actually cooler than expectations at the core, exactly in line at the headline. PPI, though, that was the big beat. So 0.3% expected. That came in flat, like completely flat, completely unexpected. So that actually was a big help to the markets. Retail sales, slightly hotter. I think that was coming off a really cool number. X autos, 0.05% is what I have. Yeah, 0.05%. Those are the two biggest. So core CPI, PPI, and then retail sales. That's mostly what we got last week. PPI being the big standout number, being a huge driver really from an inflation perspective. That's, I guess, more leading than CPI, if you will. That's producer price index. We'll see where that takes us. But yeah, I mean, that's ideal. That's better. So inflation, that's better for inflation to come down. In terms of the Fed, they're still going to be watching the labor market, which doesn't come out until next week when we get NFP and PCE. That's going to be a little bit more telling from that perspective. And of course, we get FOMC next week as well. Other stuff, really, it's just Trump pushes for higher tariffs on the European Union. University of Michigan consumer sentiment came in hot, like super hot, highest in the last 5 months. And then post this PPI, inflation expectations comes in lowest since February. One thing I don't have here, and Evan, you can add any color for any other headlines. I didn't pick up anything hot. is that I haven't looked at the CBOE Fed Watch tool, but one thing that was standing out is that when we look at this, I'm like, okay, still, if I look at probabilities, yeah, so this coming FOMC for next week, which is next week, I'm like 95% probability of no rate cut. So 95.3% probability, no rate cut. Yeah, there she is in all her glory. No rate cut. And then September looks like a 55% probability. Maybe. So maybe we're at 55% for September or October. So one of those two next FOMC meetings, whether it's September or October, we don't really know. We do not have an FOMC in August, so we skip August. So that leaves us either September or October. One of those two, we'll possibly get a rate cut. But after this one, we're much closer to a rate cut from here, which I think is more bullish than not for the broader market coming into what's oddly of a low volume. It's usually a low volume summer months. And then once we do, let's say if we do get a rate cut, if that is in September, I don't necessarily know that that's bullish, because once they're here, we don't know if it's going to be a sell the news event or not. But buying a rally into potential rate cuts, that could be what keeps the market running higher. Do you have any headlines that stood out for you? SBET, anything like that?
SBET was interesting. I've been watching the Tom Lee thing, obviously, but truthfully, I just kind of enjoy playing it, trading a little bit. All these crypto treasuries, weird. I don't know.
Yeah. The crypto treasuries are just going nuts. Ethereum, everything. So SBET's down a little bit. BMNR still down a little bit. We'll see how those act. Ethereum 3,800 over the weekend. Alt season seems to be taking a go during summer months, which is totally out of seasonal character.
Quickly, a couple more headlines from last week that I thought were interesting.
Yeah.
NVIDIA ended up getting $1 trillion larger than Apple, which I thought was pretty crazy. XYZ Block joining the S&P 500, that gave that a little bit of volatility. There's a lot of talk around AI agents last week, specifically OpenAI basically showing like a way to like build spreadsheets just with that stuff, which I thought was pretty interesting. And then we also got early last week, Mark Zuckerberg talking about Meta wanting to invest hundreds of billions of dollars to achieve superintelligence. He also showed off a couple of the data centers and like the size of that, like being the size of Manhattan. So yeah, that was another big headline for me that I thought was interesting.
There you go. No, that's what was the Zuckerberg one?
They're gonna spend hundreds of billions of dollars to achieve superintelligence over the next couple of years. They're investing very, very heavily in both the talent. Obviously, we've seen that was
them stealing from Apple.
But they're also saying that they are going to be investing heavily in these data centers. He was saying that they're going to kind of like, he's viewing the advantage here of GPU capacity per researcher. So they're trying to get the best researchers they can and give them more capacity than any other company has available, is what he's saying. So take that what you will. To me, I'm like, oh, goddamn, NVIDIA, this one might keep going.
What was the news on Apple this morning? There was something on Apple.
There was a story from over the weekend around India sales. That's India-made iPhones. Sorry, that's increasing. Tom Lee also came out and said that he thinks that Apple could surprise people with AI. Those were the real stories here. The one that was getting reported was via maybe Canalys, a tracking site, but Apple Insider ended up picking up. Said 16 to 17% of iPhones made around the world are now from India, which would have been like 5% a couple years ago.
There you go. So Apple getting some love for sure. I mean, so between this week and next week, Apple and Google, actually, both of those two stocks have like the strongest seasonal trends this month. So between those two, they still have a little bit more to give. Google reports this week, Tesla reports this week. Really, aside from the calendar, it's mostly earnings that we have on deck, which we'll get to in a little bit. But this is where we are seasonally. We have one more little press if we can get there. I think that would possibly be that Google/Apple mega cap, and then the broadening of the mid cap growth, possibly with the rally with the rate cuts to come later on down the year. And then we hit September, which August, September is really, that's a bloodbath. I've never seen a good September. I don't know. Seasonality's been off this year. It really, really has been off quite a bit. But this is where we are in terms of earnings in general. I'm going to do a couple more screens, and then Evan, we'll get to your feed real quick. But so far, I do track the Dow 30. I haven't used this slide in a bit just because we haven't really had a whole lot of earnings going on. So far, we've got 6 of the Dow 30 components that have reported: JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, J&J, Travelers, which is still part of the Dow 30, American Express, and 3M, all of which have beat. And this is what's going to be, if you're wondering why we're at all-time highs, everybody's kind of beating right now. It looks good overall, right? This is kind of the recap of what we have. High level, really nothing. We did talk about this. We'll go over this in Evan's earnings in a little bit. JPAL testimony tomorrow. Home sales, oil status report. Really not a whole lot this week. I don't need this. I'll skip that. And then I'll just jump this over to where did that go? Oh no. To Evan's feed. I had Evan's feed. Oh, it's on the TV behind me. I hate how it does that. All right. Actually,
so
Evan,
there isn't a lot going on this week, correct?
No, there's really not. But I'll walk through this, right? So Earnings Hub, this is the watch, really.
That's why I threw it first. Normally I have the other one first, but it's earnings. It's an earnings week.
Yeah. You know what? Yours is kind of small. So,
hey, it's not about size. It's about how you use it. Don't disrespect it. Yeah, no, go on the website. Go to the website so you can also click into some of them. That's better too. I like the other one. Yeah. And then top right, you have it filtered by popular. I had it filtered by 10 billion, I believe, is why they might be a little different, but that doesn't matter.
It's fine. Yeah, so Verizon we had already this morning. I think maybe that might also be between Verizon and the other headlines, maybe Verizon doing okay. I think Verizon did pretty good.
Yeah. I know the stock. I thought the stock was moving higher when I saw it this morning.
Yeah, it's still doing pretty good. That might have
5%.
been.
Verizon's not some big mover here. 5% is a huge day.
It is, yes. Yeah. So maybe that's giving Apple a little boost also. Domino's. Did you buy any pizza lately? No, you have not.
Oh,
Domino's not doing it.
I did see a headline though that their Parmesan crust, infused crust or whatever, got new customers in the door. I'm like, all right, honestly, that does sound good. I would try it.
Dude, Evan is a man of the people. I can attest to that for sure. What is that? Ray?
Ryanair.
Right.
European low budget
airline. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I know NXPI. So we already had ASML who came out and dude, I don't know what's up with ASML, but they just ASML tanked. This is the first.
So here's what I think is happening with ASML. Fantastic company. It is getting covered by American regulations and not being able to sell to China without the benefits of being in the American economy. So I feel like it's kind of in a rock and a hard place at this point in time. But, we'll see.
These guys make tooling and stuff for semis, right?
Yeah, so what they make, I think the EUV machines, basically for semiconductors, if you want to make the most advanced semiconductors, you have to use ASML technology to do it.
Right. But unlike LRCX, Lam Research, who is just I feel like constantly up and to the right type chart for who does something similar. I just don't understand how these are just so completely. How these two charts are so polar opposite. It just blows my mind sometimes. So anyway, so we have NXPI tonight, which is the next larger semi in the space to go. These guys are two kind of like out of sync, but that one goes. I think that's probably the next biggest. So then you have Coca-Cola. It's really nothing. Lockheed Martin's. I mean, maybe Coke and I don't know that Coke and Pepsi are going to be really pairs.
Well, Pepsi reported, right? And Pepsi was, or I saw people trading it. Maybe it was just KC. I don't know how much you've been doing it too. But it seems to be a little more active, right? Recently?
Yeah. They're so a lot of these. So you can take, so a lot of these are going to get hit with like FX headwinds. So like this is the Staples trade, which we're also kind of getting hit with like GLP-1, things like that. Look at like General Mills, right? Like this is wild. So General Mills chart, this is like cereals and like basic foods, things like that. Like Post, like really things that you buy at the grocery store. Normal charts that are like, what's going on? Why is this stuff going down? This is the dollar's coming down now. That's going to help these guys a little bit. This is not a good looking chart. We'll see. But this is a combination between FX headwinds, GLP-1 type stuff, not being able to change. And
what I find interesting, Kellogg or Kellanova, both sides of it have gotten acquired now. So I wonder how that ends up setting a precedent.
Yeah, Kellogg looks, this one at least,
that's our merger arbitrage now. So
yeah. Lockheed Martin. All right, so that's defense, LMT. That's different. Maybe a little bit. Dude, that Kratos, KRTOS.
I ended up just buying some at some point. I was like, all right, this is continuing. I'll tell you where it was.
Oh, this. Oh my God, that stock is just, that thing is just absolutely insane. Yeah, that thing just will not stop. GMD. So we got some home builders coming up. That's going to be interesting. These guys have been in the dumper for a long time. Philip Morris. Tenet Health. Yeah, we're fine. So then some healthcare, med tech, Chubb, EQT.
Warren Buffett name now.
Yeah. So G Vernova, Moody's.
G Vernova, or maybe it was GE. Someone.
GE already went. They pulled back for a day and then instantly right back up.
GE Vernova acquired a company today that processes visual data such as photos using AI, allowing power providers to more easily and cheaply inspect their infrastructure, identify where vegetation should be trimmed, and make damage assessments after a storm or wildfire.
Dude, Ryanair
That made a lot of sense.
Ryanair had a big move already. Did you know that?
Off the earnings this morning? Interesting.
6%. That's a big move for them.
Yeah, some of the airlines have been doing pretty well, so I guess that's not super surprising. They fit in that global theme.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if there's a increase, like travel is doing better than the US travel, because they are very, very big in Europe.
Oh, IBM. So Tesla, Google for the mega caps this week. And the way this usually works, so as we get into earnings season, by the way, so about 2 to 3 weeks ahead of time. So right now, if I were to go forward 1 week, we're going to see Apple. Sorry, my voice. We're going to see Apple. We're going to see Robinhood, Meta, Microsoft. Where's Apple? So Apple, Amazon. So everybody in this patch right here, this is next week. Everybody here in this week is probably going to have their last pre-earnings run right now. Everybody that's reporting this week, let's say Google, Tesla, would have had their last kind of move at the end of last week, and then maybe the finishers right now. Tomorrow, there's going to be some small profit taking, I would assume, for like a Tesla, Google, if they go too far, too fast. That's just typically what happens. So Tesla, Google, I'm not trading from here on out, really, or tomorrow, or the next day, or any of this week. But as a trader, if you're looking at this, you can look at, hey, look, Microsoft, Meta, Robinhood, Qualcomm, anybody on next week's calendar, Amazon, Apple, Coinbase, they're tradable this week. Next week, they're off, right? Next week, I'm not trading any of these. But if you want to say, okay, last hurrah moves for anybody on the calendar next week, they're tradable this week. And then that's how it works. And then next week, you got to go 2 weeks after that. Anybody on the calendar here, this is like your Celsius, I don't know, McDonald's, Datadog is up there, AMD. So AMD is 2 weeks from now. Maybe AMD doesn't make the final press this week, but next week it might, because in 2 weeks from now, AMD is on the calendar. Does it make sense? So if you're going to plan your trades, again, not financial advice, but this is typically the cadence of how this usually works. I think my my Restream chat might have fallen off. Okay, back to the thread of Evanito. Okay, Monday, Tuesday. So Seeking Alpha, do we have anything here? So Verizon.
Events, IPO calendar on that Monday. What's going public?
IPO calendar, NIQ, ARX. Oh, so XDiv, Dell, dude. Dell got, there was so much flow on Dell last week. This thing was so hot. I was like, oh my God, I had this trade on Dell. I was so upset. It was looking so good, and it just went without me. I was like, oh. And then I wanted to chase it, and I'm like, I know better right now. But I guess I need to wait for it to come back or something, or maybe it just goes without me. I don't know what's going on. But there was a ton of headlines on Dell last week. It looked like gross, and then all of a sudden it just flipped. And now it's kind of breathing, but I don't know. This thing might just be continuing on. But on Dell, there's a move to 150s. I don't know. So dividend is tiny. Looks like ex-div date went out. I guess you got to wait for that. Tomorrow, we already went through that.
By the way, that Powell speech, I don't know why that's happening. They're in a blackout period, but I don't know.
Yeah, so remarks before hybrid integrated review of capital framework for large banks. So he can't really make a lot of comments on what's happening next week. Michelle Bowman will host Fireside Chat to discuss effects of AI on banks, businesses, and consumers. Yeah, but he is up there on the calendar. We'll see. Wednesday. So Google, this is...
Yeah,
this is Wednesday after the close. Google, Tesla, IBM, T-Mobile, Chipotle. President Trump scheduled to give a speech on AI all day. Extra volatility for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana and XRP. What? Why?
I don't know.
That's random.
That is pretty random.
Maybe he's going to talk about crypto. It's still crypto week, no?
That would be last week, I guess, but maybe it's always crypto week if you believe hard enough.
It's always crypto week. All right. Faraday Futures. Private reception, Capitol Hill Club.
If you trade any video game stocks, Circana is
Yeah.
actually a good one.
Monthly Connect. Okay. National Retail Federation. Tesla conference call. Okay. So someone mentioned LYFT today. LYFT looks crazy. So Tesla conference call during which Grok is expected to make an appearance. Elon Musk has said Tesla vehicles and Optimus V3 humanoid robot are now equipped with generative AI chatbot. Robotaxi news from Tesla could be relevant to companies talking about Parastrade, Uber, Waymo, WeRide, Pony AI, Zoox, and Lucid, and Lyft. Thursday, Blackstone. I like Blackstone. Honeywell, Union Pacific, Deutsche Bank, Newmont, Global PMIs. Yep. European Central Bank, ECP. New home sales coming. More earnings. MRVL. What's going on with MRVL? Alzheimer's Association International Conference will begin over the weekend.
It's MRVL Biosciences. I guess that's the Canadian.
Yeah.
They have the same ticker. That's kind of
Yeah.
scammy by them, actually.
Scammy.
And then there wasn't that much on the macro, so this is just going to be kind of more.
Yeah, it's pretty mellow macro. That's it.
Oh wait, there are some treasury auctions.
Yeah, it's next week, man. Next week, so we have a 2-year Friday.
Far right column is the one you want to look at. So Wednesday, July 23rd is when the 20-year is, and then 10-year tips, July 24th, Thursday.
Yeah,
1 p.m. Eastern on the days. Maybe you get a little extra volatility around there. That's it.
That's a wrap. And then sign up for the newsletter.
Wonderful recap.
Wonderful recap. Let's see if I can find the main.
The superstar of this one is earnings, though. Earnings is the superstar of the week.
There you go. You can find it right there. I'm sure that you have Evan in there for sure. But yeah, there we have it. So, and I have durable goods Friday. We do. There's also this thing, money supply. Crypto people watch this a lot. I don't a whole lot. I don't know if Evan does or doesn't, but it can be a thing. In the meantime, we have our friend Miss Cleo who stops in from time to time. She did give me this reading. So fair warning, it's all for fun and in games, but sometimes she does pretty good, but I think we should check her out. So without further ado, let's see what the cards have in store for us. Here it is. All right, guys. So the favorite part of the chat, it is Miss Cleo time. I saw this at the beginning. I really don't know what to say on this one. It just is what it is. So the way this works is we get a theme card at the top, and then on the bottom, we get a card for every day of the week. The theme card, it just doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. I don't know what to say. I don't know if she drew it wrong or what. But it is what it is. So I don't know what to say about this. I have no idea what this is. It just is. There's a guy. There's a man. I think it's a man. There's a person laying on the ground. I'm sure that they're probably dead. There's a bunch of Oh, Mama's calling. There's a bunch of swords. Let me text her back. Maybe it's the Bears. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say these are the Bears. Maybe, and the Bears are dead. Let's go with that, because maybe that's what's happening. Who knows? As far as the rest of the week's concerned, this is Monday. That's called, what is that? That's the 10 of swords. Monday is the 5 of swords. Tuesday we know about this card. This is the tower. So something's happening. We either build the tower Monday or Tuesday, and then we fall off the tower at some point. And then Wednesday, this is the world, which is, I don't remember. One of these is like the Wheel of Fortune card. I don't know. Well, no, there's an actual card called the Wheel of Fortune. I don't remember what this one is, but this one looks fancy. So we go to looks like we're going to battle, and then we storm the castle, and somebody probably dies, and then they go to heaven like this, and then you pay the piper, and that's it. Basically, looks like that's what happened. And then you've killed the bears at some point during the week, or somebody died. That's basically your life journey. And so that's what happened. So let's go. I have no idea what's going on here, guys. So the world, Queen of Swords, and then the Knight of Pentacles. Let's just read what she has to say. So the theme card is the Ten of Swords. So last week's moon gives rise to the card representing the final death. It usually kills the trend or the forces that guard against it. See what she did there? I told you guys, you never know. Or the forces that guard against it. This is like, have you ever had some kind of reading before, Evan? Have you ever had some kind of, any kind of reading?
They leave the door open for everything.
Yeah. I was
anything.
You never really know. But it usually kills the trend or the forces that guard against it. So somebody's dying. I just don't know if it's the bulls or the bears. Last week, all selling pressure was quickly absorbed, but we seem to be running out of steam. Or do we? This could be the week that finally sets up the top for a run-of-the-mill retrace. Or does it? She doesn't know. Let's see. Anyway, sorry, guys. Monday is the Five of Swords. Whoa, okay, Ms. Cleo. A trap has been laid. It doesn't end well for the losing side. No. Mean reversion, red, is more than likely, though it should not trend in that direction. Chop is more, though it should not trend in that direction. Chop is more likely. Look for quick and direct price action. I would not expect a lot of impulsivity. I'm not even looking at the market right now. Tuesday is the tower. Here, the tower either gets built or torn down, depending on the setup. So depending on today, the tower either gets built tomorrow, or if we're super green today, gets torn down tomorrow. If following a red day, especially if bearish, it brings the tower building. If following a mostly green energy or persistent dip buying, then it can be quite bearish. This should be a trend day. So it's turnaround Tuesday, basically. This should be a trend day, so you can trade momentum for the bulk of it. Cool. Wednesday is the world. This card brings completion. What day is Powell talking? Wednesday? No, tomorrow. Tomorrow Powell talks. And then what do we have? And then Tuesday. Oh, okay. So Tuesday. No, so the Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon, Google and Tesla report Wednesday evening. Google, Tesla report Wednesday evening. So maybe Tuesday we go up, and then Wednesday they sell it off. Let's see. Okay. This card brings completion. Since Wednesday loves to bring pivots, that would make a lot of sense here. The theme card bring extra support for that cause. Okay. I'm looking for light continuation here. There's about 20% chance of trend, but chop is more likely. So 80% chop. Usually, if we have somebody reporting that night, we're not going to get a trend on the day. Thursday, Queen of Swords. She is also choppy, usually in the same direction as the preceding session. But since Wednesday favors a pivot, this day may be a total wash. There will likely be cuts to both sides of the tape. She trends more often to the upside than down and favors bulls in a choppy session as well. There's not much to do here. I agree. We got ServiceNow also. Holy crap. So we got ServiceNow, Tesla, and Google. And we have SAP, who's a big mover as well. SAP Tuesday night, ServiceNow, Tesla, Google, IBM, all massive movers. And Intel. Okay. Friday. Is anybody reporting Friday morning? No. Continuation is likely scenario on Friday. This night takes his time and prefers a slow, steady grind to putting on a spectacle versus putting on a spectacle. Therefore, I would try fading any moves. I wouldn't try fading any moves, and I wouldn't trade same-day options trying to chase a quick win, but buy time if you can. I don't know. Yeah, so this is a wild. Somebody is dying. Patrick. Oh, God. Tuesday's the tower. We'll have to look at this price action. This is some wild stuff. Tuesday would make sense that we get the tower built because that's like the last day. And then Wednesday, it's like, okay, reality's going to set in because we're about to report Tesla, Google, ServiceNow. Then card completion makes perfect sense. Big pivot because the trade is done and the event happens. Maybe continuation, but it's going to be a gap. And then you can't really trade post gap because it's usually just done. And gap and stop. Not even reverse. Not these guys. They're just going to gap and stop. And chop. And more chop. So the week is over after Wednesday, guys. So anyways, recap. The chart shows a clear breakout, but could be overextended. There's a lot of chop on the menu this week, and watch for a resolution to the trend. So it's going to be choppity chop, gap, choppity chop. That's basically the deal. Yep. That is the deal. We shall see. We shall see. Basically, she don't know. But and I don't know either. But I mean, that's what this looks like. Choppity chop. What is going on with these guys? This is hilarious. Yeah. So let's take a look at the indices. This is the depot. We don't need to look at that. I'm just gonna do really quick. You got about I'll do the indices, and then you have from here till I'm done with the indices to drop your tickers. All right, so SPY. So for sure, this is how this is gonna work. So you guys, if you don't know me, very simply stated, NFP levels always hold all the weight. This is the box. We finally last week we were getting close. It was a little sketchy. I think this is the tweet we were talking about. I'm gonna fire Powell. No, I'm not gonna fire Powell. Whoop, reverse, buy the dip generation right here. It's all good. We got our NFP open above, close above, boom, trigger, you're gone. From here on out, any retest of 626 spot 27 should be buyable if we get it. I don't need to have it. This weekend gap up and go is all I really need to have. Can we come back and retest this? Yes. At no point do I ever want to see 626 spot 27 breach or fail? That would be it. That would be, I'm a bear if that fails. That's it. No more. Done. That cannot happen. I don't care. It is what it is. From here on out, there are no more puts unless it's just a counter trend and you know it's a counter trend. That's fine. And it's just to retest to get your big long. But that's it. All dip buys from here are done. Average weekly range is up to, get this, 647. That's insane on SPY. If we breach 626, then 621 is the downside. But honestly, we're probably looking, if you're 609, that's going to be all she wrote. I don't want to see a 626 break. If we go there, we're going to the low 621. So that's what that's going to be. QQQ, similar story. Actually, never breached that NFP low. Qs have been much stronger. Even that Powell, that Trump, I'm gonna let him go. That pullback retest was a perfect to the penny. Look at that ping of the Qs NFP low right there, 551 spot 62. Never did this one. This one actually never breached, not at once. The lows. It only retested the lows. So this one kind of told the story, never went lower. You actually got your trigger open above, close above a day prior to, and at no point did this even kind of really trigger short. So this has been longer than SPY. Average weekly range to the upside all the way up to 580 on QQQ. All right, the only other things to watch. So crypto diamonds are in recovery mode. So these guys had actually triggered short or started to trigger short. One day open below and close below. But the very next day, open below, close above, and they started to actually recover. So these guys actually have the most rebounding to do. This is your diamond. So Home Depot, Boeing's, and the like, they have a lot more catch up to do. This could be a little bit better trade if you're looking for catch up. So this is industrials, Boeing, CRM, all those kind of things, Apples, etc. Anything in diamonds. This has more catch up to do. Similar story with IWM. Not even close to the highs. Not even kind of close to the highs. These guys have, they are also on the mend. So having right towards the highs, off the 20-day, simple, also recovering. Pretty tight setup, but if all of this can come back, look, they're all gonna be able to make a stand. But Q's strongest for sure. If diamonds and IWM can come back, that means that SPY will come back as well. Metals, precious metals also looking pretty strong. So everybody looking strong. The dollar is this guy coming back into support right here. If this is the one that was needed to watch. As the dollar was going higher or bouncing a little bit, like these moments, this is what was kind of like, well, even in these little moments, kind of like making the indices a little bit weaker. So, and even off of this support here. So as this comes back into 96.80, I would watch that. So this is DXY, the dollar coming back down, back into support. I would just keep this on watch. This is like one of those things to be like, this is your warning sign. That and the VIX, if you want to keep a, what's the word I'm looking for? Just like some kind of warning mechanism out there. If you see the indices going green and the VIX going green at the same time, you can keep that on watch. Silver also looking very, I'm long silver. I didn't get a gold trade in, but I did get a silver trade in. This one looking like a good catch up. All of this silver, gold can rally along with equities at the same time. I'm really not worried about that, especially with the dollar kind of coming in all together. All of this can go. All right, done. So I'm going to scroll up and I'm going to stop it at open. Okay, so Evanito. Your first
Yeah, you know what I
I
want to
don't know.
start with. Apple. Give me the Apple, and we can go to the crowd.
Apple. So Apple reports next week. If she wants to make a push, 115 has to breach, right? And then it's basically kind of like you play this simple moving average ping pong most of the time. Simple moving average, meaning like the daily simple moving averages. So right now, the daily 20 and the daily 50 are going to act as more or less dynamic support. That's the white and the blue lines. And it's going to try and get to the 200 day, which is about 222 right now. It's not going to be exact, but that's where it's going to try to get pulled up to. It seems like a ways away. And there's a little bit of a gap just overhead from, I think it was the April 2nd gap down, the first Liberation Day moment, just underneath the 200 day. It's actually what I'm looking for. Might even be right above it. And I know it seems like a ways away. It is a ways away. But I think that was that first Liberation Day whoopsies announcement. I'm not really even sure what it was, but that's the biggest imbalance that Apple has at the moment. Right now, what we're dealing with is this 215 level. So I got 1, 2, 3 attempts essentially right now. This is about 216.05, 216 and change that Apple's banged its head against as we approach earnings next week. So this is attempt number 3. I think we do this one more kind of back and fill this week, and this pullback is fine. This now I think is attempt number 4 for this week and probably breaches. And that's, I think between now and next week, this is the move. So this pullback as we speak, I think is the collection. Like this is the moment that you can watch it, not this minute, but anything here in this area, it could come down to like the 210 still. But the next break of structure, I think this is happening. The next attempt that it makes at 216, I think is going to crack and make that very quick push into that 220 area. Really what you'd want to see is like, you'll see it like maybe even tomorrow, come back down and it'll breach and it'll look really weak. Might even do something like this. And then the close will look basically like this. It'll look like it got a big push. Maybe it gets to 270 and then it gets flushed and it gets hit by like $1. But that close will close probably like right on 216. Like you'll be like, oh, it's going. And then it gets hit by like $1.50. And then you'll be like, oh, it's getting pulled. It's getting rugged. But when you look at it, what's going to happen is actually it's going to close right over that 216. And that very next morning is going to gap up and it's going to fill. And it's going to be done. Just like that. Poof. So you don't want to close that day. That is my 2 cents. It doesn't have to. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
So that's really what you're going to look for. So anything in here. So what you do is you kind of take this area that has been accumulating in. Right here is that point of control, and you kind of see it on the screen here. It's 210, 211 is where they've kind of been accumulating. So it can even come down to here and have a little struggle. So that moment can even, like, it can be like a 3-day accumulation. It might not even happen until Thursday because people might be waiting for Google and Tesla. Like, the people might be preoccupied with positioning for Google and Tesla. And then after Google and Tesla go, then they'll be like, oh, okay, now I'll go work on Apple. Does that make sense? Like that might be how it happens. But I think that in the meantime, Apple probably continues to make some sort of higher lows and just continues to build, because depending on what Google and Tesla are doing, they're really close to their earnings. And so now they go over to the next one, which would be the next value would be Apple towards the lows. But I think this happens before earnings, not during earnings. Cool. All right. Okay. Scrolling. We are UNH, dude. I'm just so not a fan. UNH can take years. This is going down. UNH going down. It's got earnings coming. Is there any headlines on UNH? Not that.
I'll dig into it.
I mean, if you don't have anything off the top of your head. 267. You have a fair value right here. Lost the 20-day. It's just going lower every day. So wait. Not ready. You got earnings coming July 29th.
I don't see much news out of the ordinary. There are some ones that, like, health issuers are denying more drug claims, data shows, but I don't think that is.
Arista. Do I think that we can get to 120? Honestly, I have no idea, but Arista, I've taken and I don't really like taken all my short. I've taken like 5 trades on this pre-earnings. I'm done. I think you're pressing this. No, I don't. I think you're greedy as hell if you're trying to get this. When is earnings happening? Dude, so like Arista has been like an amazing trader. When does this even report? August 5th? Dude, get out of here. Dude, that's crazy to even want that. I don't know. You have to break structure first. I don't know how you trade that. I don't even know what to say. I'm done with the short-term options on Arista. I mean, if you want to, but like you got to know you're way up there. I think you get to 120 maybe. I don't know, but you got to make a new high. This thing is just it's shocking me every time, but I think it's a great stock. I think it's a great company. I think it's a great trader right now. It's possible. Anything's possible. Shit, you could get to 130. I don't know. It just keeps going. It just keeps going. It's possible. Anything's possible. But yeah, it's made a big move. It's still going higher. It's not necessarily done. 8.5 is like 10 days away. So if it breaks that level, that would be the next level. And SMCI. SMCI, I don't know. SMCI, I feel like, no, I don't know. So SMCI 60 would be the next level. But you got to be really careful about an offering here. So SMCI, maybe 49.70 on a retest. Then it gets to 660, but you got to take that down quickly because you could get hit with an offering like any second. Any second. So we know they've been doing it at this price. For sure. Okay. Next. Microsoft. Microsoft, I think, is stretched. So this is a lower high so far on Microsoft. So high, blow off top Friday, lower high today on Microsoft. I think Microsoft is actually done. I really do. And I think Microsoft is one that actually can come in. I think. I don't have a trigger yet. I thought it was going to be today, but then it instantly got bought back up. So Microsoft having earnings next week, I think this one is probably going to go sideways. I don't think you, definitively, I don't think you trade Microsoft. If anything, I think you trade Microsoft to the side. I always trade calendars on Microsoft. This is not an earnings mover. I would do nothing but sell. I would sell premium on Microsoft. I don't think that you want to trade this. I don't think so. I'm not going to trade this. This one's hard up here. Maybe 525, but it's not enough. It's more of a day trader up here because it's so expensive now that move might happen in a day, but I don't know that it holds it either. And it's such a small percentage of the stock. It's not small percentage, large dollars, but also not going to stick, not going to hold. Like it'll be a push and then back and fill. Hertz. Dude, you're deep. Why is I like LYFT. This is like deep value. Hertz off the 20. Hertz off the 20. This is coming in too close to earnings. I guess that's not that close. Hertz looks good. Off the 20, I think today's your day. If you're going to do it. Today's a good buy if you're going to do it. For sure. TDOC. I don't know where it goes, though. TDOC is not a good day. TDOC, I think this is not a day to buy. TDOC looks extended. It's already gapped. It's still dealing with that 200-day. You're going to have some back and fill, back and fill, back and fill. TDOC closer to that 7, but it's got earnings coming. It wants to squeeze. I don't know. I can't get with you on this one. Can't do it. Can't ride with you on this one. Lift I can, but it's not been fun. But I can. I just flipped red on me though. So that just lost what it was firing. It just lost the squeeze. It lost it. So it needs to immediately get it back. And if it doesn't immediately recover, the whole setup is just it's in the garbage. So this has to immediately come back now. And it's going to try. Otherwise, the entire setup is invalidated if this doesn't immediately come back. The whole thing. So this is touch and go. But it has to come back to life. Otherwise, this whole lift squeeze thing it gets called off. That was setting up. But yeah, I've been watching it. I was like, woo. It was getting crazy, literally right here. And then right when it failed, right there, I think somebody gave it a downgrade. A bunch of people gave up on it. Had it held that momentum, it was going to be wild. But it lost it, and it just burnt out the fire real fast. So this is the one opportunity it's got to kind of like take it back. Otherwise, it gets stuck down here for a very long time. And I'm not gonna want to be in that ride too long. So that is LYFT. Unfortunate about that one. But
You know what I would say? If you're gonna start to price Uber in weird ways for Robotaxi and Lucid, I wouldn't be surprised if they want to backdoor
dude,
LYFT
that's what I'm
into
saying.
that.
LYFT is like way down there. Oh, CRM is
Yeah.
climbing here. All right, so CRM, I caught this the other day. I think I caught it great. I think I caught it at a very good spot, like the spot. But what I will say is like it's still got some traffic overhead. Not touching it. So here's the spot. Post earnings here. So CRM is actually one of the largest components of diamonds. It's in DIA. It's also the largest component, one of the largest components of IGV, the software sector. This is looking very good. What I was trying to say about this one is that I know that it has a lot of work to do still. Like it's got a lot of work to do. I think I caught it well, and I'm not going to give up on it. So it was looking rough this morning. Looking better now. Prior week high, 263. When I say work, this is the 50-day here. This is 20-day here. Prior week high area right there. So these three lines are big areas. Catching it here is nice. That's step one. Getting through here, that was step two. Holding, good. I think this does make it to 267. Not getting rejected at 267 is going to be important. Not getting rejected at the 20-day is going to be super important. If it can get through there, then trajectory should take us very quickly to there. Not getting rejected there is equally important. And so there's these three. So the path is, so step one, we catch it here, right? And then we get to here. Move number one. Cool. Done. Right? Done. Move number two. Complete. Now we're in phase two. Cool. Phase three. Cool. And then if somehow we survive each of these, I say we, the big in, this will come back here. That would be full move. So if the trajectory from this snipe, if the liquidity from this snipe provided enough momentum, and the slingshot through the 20 and the 50-day can actually bring it up through here with enough momentum, it will have a little bit of a blip here. That's fine. But this slingshot trajectory, remember that just like Apple, once you get through that 20 and the 50-day, it's kind of like you're going to play that 20, 50-day simple moving average ping pong. You're going to go boom, boom, boom into the 200-day, which is here. That's about 300. all before earnings. Oops. And if I zoom out on this is a 30-minute candlestick. Oh my God. Here's earnings here. This is August 20th earnings. That would basically just take it to the bottom of this trajectory. Building. We're so low down here. We're not even talking about this yet. If it could get through this, so if we get this, this is that pullback. That's what we're talking about seeing. By earnings. And then if, let's say you get a good earnings report, you're going to see that. So that's CRM. Ta-da. MK. That's CRM. Oscar. I don't know that I trust this. No, I don't trust this. I mean, it has to hold, what is that, 1350? If you're below yesterday's high, it's not real, which you're just retesting right now. So you have to hold that at a minimum. MSTR. CRM is like a 3x size for me, by the way, right now. Probably the largest swing. No, probably it is. MSTR looks good. So MSTR, that kind of fake breakdown, it does this. This red line is a quarterly high. Right here. This is a retest. Interesting level. Maybe let it breathe. Definitely one to watch. So today's high is 439. If you breach that, well, if you breach 439, it's very likely that you can actually have a full recovery here. That looks like a possible fake out, especially holding what it's holding. Watch. Bullish bacon. AVAX. All right. What do you want to know about AVAX? I've always talked about AVAX. It's over the 200. So I sent this in my server, like jokingly, not jokingly, at 17, 18, see at 50. Next spot. Fastest blockchain measured by time to finality. I think you have a date with 35 for sure, and then possibly 50. But if you continue that on, yeah, I get Ethereum right now. A lot of layer 2 stuff being built on Ethereum. At a certain point, I think that the hyperscale layer ones are going to be figured out that is what needs to be real. And that is Solana and Avalanche. I mean, Avalanche is DeFi, to be fair. Over the 200. This is like, it's not necessarily the best spot to buy it. It was before, but it's okay. If this gets through 2684 right here, like here, I'll just draw this horizontal. Like if it breaks that level, that's going to be a big it's a big level to break. So 2684 is see this, all of this, kind of this breach. This is like your 1500 on Ethereum equivalent. You get through that 2684, which essentially you've got 1, 2, 3. You go straight to 36. Like do not pass go, do not collect $200. You go straight there. So that's this. That's that. That's why the watch. That's why the post. I think it's possible. Meta. Interesting. Earnings next week. I think this can get a bounce. That's a good spot. This one can be back on the day trade calendar. That's the pivot right here. Basically today's low. It's a hard swing. Gap, go. This is the 20-day simple that it's running into. So you're going to have to trade this day by day. It's not an easy swinger, especially on a Monday. But this day tradable pivots would be 725s and 730s. Hoodie. Oh, I'm done. Yeah, I think you just let this one breathe. Chill. Hoodie. SBET, BMNR. Yeah, these guys, I don't know. SBET, I think I saw something to like 27s. Oh, you're 2570, so you're a little bit slower. You're a little bit lower. So you got to get back over 27. I don't hate it here. And I saw a fair value and I saw a session gap. Session gap 2160. Not that has to fill. But it's got more liquidity now. So clean session gap and the 50-day 2164 SBET. Otherwise, you gotta watch it. I would chill on SBET. It's well over a weekly range. But wait for the next setup to come. Don't step in front of this. Just wait for the setup to come. BMNR, I like Evan said, if you're going to put a bet like equity, it's not going to have the volatility just because it didn't have the options. But these you just kind of like BMNR, you could put in a drawer and kind of forget about it because it's just small size. It's not going to have the volatility of SBET. SBET you can trade. Too far, too fast. You got to wait for a setup. That's way overheated. No setup here. That's got to rest. Rocket Lab. Mm. 48. Is it too high? It's very extended. I think this is sell cover calls. I think you sell cover calls for sure. This is hot. This has got to come in. Shit. There's nobody picking this up. I have 39. No. Went too far too fast. That went too hot. Well, this is Rocket Lab. I have 39.80, 39.98, just under 40. I don't want to see it lose this level. Otherwise, you could protective puts. I don't even know about. Yeah, I don't even know about cover calls. I would probably just protective puts. Not even cover calls. Not even cover calls. I wouldn't do cover calls. I would not sell cover calls because I'd rather lose money buying protective puts and keep the upside. I would keep the upside and hopefully I lose money buying puts. That's what I'll do. I will buy puts, hopefully lose all my money on my puts and not cut the upside. MRVL was dealing with the 20-day. Yeah. So sometimes when you get in between, you get caught sometimes in between these simple moving averages. So MRVL just got caught. So it's caught in between the 20 and the 50 right in here. So this is a longer term one. Got to give it some time. It was riding above. Hopefully it gets back up out. They're kind of flattening. It needs another catalyst. It's out of the trade war zone. 80 and change remains like the upside target, but it's flattening out from here. It needs to get its bearings for a bit. Oscar, we did. DHI. No, earnings can't do it. ASTS. ASTS got over the hump. This one actually, Jesus. This one looks like it's ready to do something. This one actually may continue. Oh, God. Hopefully Rocket Lab gets something else going. I said I would rather buy protective puts than sell covered calls. Oh, man. ASTS, dude, these things move way too fast, dude. Way too fast. It kind of already hit that extension. 62. So it needs to be like a 54.50 pullback. And then it's maybe up to 66. These move too crazy. And then now I'm at open. 200-week SMA. It's a wrap. You got to wait for it to make another move. I can't press this. This is like, dude, you guys know they have earnings. This is short squeeze. I can't do anything on this. All right. That's a wrap for me. Evanito, if you're still here, I commend you.
I'm chilling.
You are
I'm still
insane.
here. I was listening to the paper, listening and watching.
Listening. Listen, somebody else. VG is down 4%. I don't know about VG. A couple of people say APH, Amphenol, dude, amazing stock. Astera Labs, oh my God, what a mover. Insane. They wanted to hear your thoughts on BMNR. BMNR? BMNR.
We
Yeah.
talked about it, yeah. I don't disagree. I think while the music is playing, it's fun. The move in Ethereum has been crazy this
Yes.
past week too. Past
Yeah.
couple weeks. I was even taking a peek of the 2x Ethereum
Oh,
ETFs.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Those
there's
are
some craziness. If
those have
that's
been
playing
absolutely
well,
crazy,
the
dude. I
backdrop.
mean, just absolutely insane. One, dude, these I've missed. Roblox, I've just been missing that one entirely. Insane. I'm long Kava. HD, I think, look, all these home builders, we got some of that stuff coming up. If we're closer to rate cuts than not, some of those could be good. Yeah, gold, silver, I think all that can still
Actually,
go.
I added to RKT on that kind of if we get a
Yeah,
rate cut. I saw some people talking about it. There was one thing, and then I saw one person that also saw hedge eye long it, so I dug a little deeper.
yeah.
All right. Again, 1348 is what I think my average cost is.
RKT.
So not bad so far.
Rocket Mortgage.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Not a
And it's
bad
up like
idea.
9% today. I
Rocket
bought it off
Company.
of that.
Oh, the thing's flying right now,
Yeah.
dude.
I don't know what the move is today. Maybe it's just open. It probably is just open. Open is moving, so they're like, all right,
8%.
what's kind of similar? But
RKT is flying.
I bet you it is an open door sympathy. Actually, now that I think about
I
it,
don't know. Yeah, and I love my Abercrombie. Aber, I keep saying Amber. Is it Aber? I don't know. Hollister jeans. I think we need to go buy some Hollister jeans. That's all I know. So, anyways, all good. That is it. Appreciate you guys. That's all for now. And then I'm going to take a break and then I'll check in with the server. And I have CrowdStrike weekly options right now. That's all I got. But just trying to clean up. I think Mondays, I don't like to trade a whole lot. It's more like I had a lot of stuff over the weekend, clean up the portfolios. Maybe from an options perspective, maybe I'll dibble dabble a little bit by the afternoon, but that's really it. And then see what the week has for us from here. But appreciate you, man, jumping in. You rock. Yeah, you hung out the whole time. All right, guys.
appreciate you. Let's do it
See
again
you
next
later.
week.
Adios. Peace.